It's not fair to say. Like, there's a lot of movies that have scenes like this, sure, that like actually talk to each other and they sit down. But I guess in a lot of ones that I've seen recently, like let's just use the MCU for example. They never have a scene like this where like anymore, where it's like they just sit down and characters talk. There always has to be a fight or a quip of whatever the fuck. They can't just get serious for a few freaking minutes. And so I loved seeing that in Breaking Bad right here. I was like, oh, just watching characters just go at. I loved it. I loved that. Breaking Bad was freaking awesome. Okay, I have put off watching Breaking Bad for a very long time. How long has it been out? That's how long I put it off, essentially. People would say, no, for a long time. Go watch them. Go watch the show. It's pretty good. Watch the show. It's a good one. Watch the show. Cool. And I just watched season 1 of Breaking Bad recently. And dude, just season 1. I've not watched the rest of the season yet. I know that Better Call Saul comes on afterward, or like as a prequel season. But so I was skeptical about watching Breaking Bad because I thought it was going to be an example of one of those overhyped shows, because a lot of times people do overhype things to where it's like, yeah, you had me at up here and it's just it's down here, and then it like ruins the vibe a little bit. But no, dude, they do a really good job at showing characters really go from one place to another throughout a season. And like at the end of the season, you know that this is not the end of it. Like, you know that they've made some differences. They have changed a bit, but this is still the beginning of their change. There's still so much more that they could do. And so let's just get into this a little bit. So we get our main guy here, and he just turned 50. He's getting a little older, and he finds out that he has cancer. That Walter White has cancer. And it's like, that would suck. He's got a limited time now. As far as he knows, he's got like less than a year to live. And he's just like, fuck. Like, his wife is pregnant and has a baby on the way. He's got a handicapped son. And, he's got, there's some things that he would like to leave his family with. He wants to leave them really well off. He wants them to be okay. He doesn't want them to have to struggle. He doesn't want his wife to have to, go and work and try to make money for a while. He wants her to be well off. He wants her to be no debts to pay. And that's the thing too with the cancer, because his wife wants him to take this treatment that's going to cost a lot of money, and then the post things afterward, if it works, or like he's just going to be in a bed and weak all the time, and he doesn't want to have that kind of a lifestyle with that. And what I like as well, so before I get more into that stuff, I'll talk about like in the first couple episodes here. So he wants to leave his family off. That's his motivation. That tells us his motivation for wanting to cook crystal meth. He is a chemistry teacher, and he knows this so freaking well. This is his profession. He's really smart with this stuff. And he sees one of his ex-students, Jesse, and he's just a little bum. He's a little street bum kind of, and he is like he figures out he was selling meth or something. I forget the specific scene that got him to Jesse, because I watched this over a couple weeks ago now that I'm doing this video. And he's like, hey, do you want to cook? Do you want to work together here? We can sell, because he saw on a video his brother, or his actual brother or stepbrother. I forget the specific relation with him. I think it's his actual brother here, who's I just call him Twitchell, because he was in the Tremors, the series, and he was Deputy Twitchell in that. And I love that guy. He's the DEA. And deals with drugs and stuff, and there's been some drug busts, and there's a lot of money that they find with it, and so he goes and does that. Of course, most of you guys already fucking know all this. I know. I'm just running through it because this is me experiencing it for the first time. Okay, so. And that's why he wants to cook crystal meth, because there's a lot of money that can be made out of it, and he can have that left over for his family. So he teams up with Jesse. They get an RV so they can go out somewhere and cook without being discovered as much, without the smell hitting everybody. But the thing is that Jesse goes to this Crazy 8 guy and is going to try to sell him some. But the guy is like, fuck you, where'd you get this? Take me to him. And they, go over there. They're threatening Jesse and Walter to make the meth. With the meth is apparently like the purest meth they've ever freaking seen, that they've ever had. So like, holy shit, make us more of that, show us the recipe or whatever. And so he's going to, but he, instead of just, folding over like you think that this guy would and just doing whatever they say, no, he's a little ballsy here. And he tries to kill them. Walt, this dude tries to kill them. He's like, hey, take a look at this, and boom, it's like a little tiny explosion that's like a little distraction. He rushes out of the RV and locks them inside, and they're choking on the fumes that the thing is coming off of, and one of them dies in that little bit, but the other one does not. He is knocked out, but he survives the stuff that they're breathing in there. There's a little bit more mayhem and everything going into the next episode. And this is what I love. One of the things that I love about this show so far, like with we're going that far into the episode, you think this is about a guy that has cancer and then it's going to start cooking meth to provide for his family. Great premise. A lot more stuff happens to it than I would have ever thought. And so their first attempt trying to cook and sell has gone completely wrong. And, they have a dead body and then a guy who is alive. And it's like, ooh, so should they just kill him like that? Well, it's not that easy. These guys haven't really killed before. It's a kid and a dude that's dying. They haven't done this kind of a thing before, so they're trying to figure out what to do. And until they decide what to do, the guy wakes up and like Crazy Eights, and he is like, shit, he's gonna be stuck down there, and we're trying to figure out how we execute him, or do we let him go free? Is he somebody that we can trust to not turn on us and kill us? But it seems like based on the evidence so far, he'd be the kind that turn on you and kill you. And he keeps him alive for it seems like a couple of days before something happens here. So, but Walt's got his lung cancer, and he ends up passing out at some point as he's about to serve some food to the guy. The plate breaks and shatters into multiple pieces, and while he's asleep, the guy was able to get one of the shards and hide that in his pants, and has been talking his way with Walt ever since, essentially. And Walt is like trying to really contemplate. They really take their freaking time having one character contemplate killing another character. Like, he really doesn't want to. He's like, man, is this morally good? What's going to happen here? There's all these things that are like what can happen here, and he's just weighing it out. And he's like, if I let him free, he could kill my family, and that's just can't have that happen. But he gets convinced after talking to him for a while. He's like, okay, I think I can let you free, and he's going to. But he looks at the plate shards and is like putting them together, making sure that, hey, are all the pieces here that I picked up? Nope, one big piece is missing. And so he knows that the other guy has it, and he's just like he's like about to unlock it, and he's like, yeah, you're not mad, right? Oh no, I'm totally fine. And he lets him out, or he was about to let him out, but he's like, you just stab me with that plate shard. And the guy immediately tries to stab him as he's in closer range to get him, and that's when Walt's got to choke him out, and he gets stabbed in the leg in the process. But it's like he ends up having to kill Crazy Eights anyway. And I don't know. I just really like that they took their time to have a character contemplate killing somebody and having Jesse deal with it too. They're trying to figure out a way to dispose of the bodies here of the other guy, and he puts the wrong chemicals in the bathtub, and that melts through it. It can't melt through plastic, but it can melt through pretty much everything else, and it just like makes a huge mess of everything. And it's like, oh fuck, it just I love how they handled that. They didn't just glaze over it and then go into the next part of the show. They took their time with this. And then going on with that. So we get past that. They're, moving on with stuff. And his wife, Walter's wife, is really trying to get him to take the treatment that he needs. And his son thinks that he's a pussy for not, he thinks he's just giving up, essentially, is how the son sees it. And it's just, there's all stuff going on. All these people are having all this stuff. And then the wife is like, okay, let's have a sit down and talk about this, and let's pass the pillow around and do our talk. And I roll my eyes at that kind of thing, but it's like, okay, they're getting somewhere here, and they're given all the reasons why they think that he should, take the treatment. His brother doesn't really know what to do there. He's just there and he's eating the food. It's kind of funny, small humor in the scene. And the DEA's wife, she she in this series also, she's like a thief. I like the stuff revealed that like the family isn't as clean as you would think they all are. There's all a little bit of something else. Each person's kind of doing a little bit of something bad they're not supposed to. She's a thief and steals stuff, but she has a good point here. I've hated this character this whole season. The DEA's wife, I forget her name on top of my head. She is a fucking bitch, but when they're having their talk in the living room, just sitting down and talking, I agreed with her. I was like, holy shit, she made a great point, because the wife is like, hey, you need to take this because of our family and I'm going to have a baby. And there's all these reasons why you should. And, she was like, the sister was like, I'm a medical professional. I've seen patients like hate existing sometimes because their family pressures them into getting treatment, and then they have to deal with it, and it's just awful. Then you finally hear what Walt has to say, and why Walt's been denying wanting to take the treatment at all, and because she's been trying to get him handouts to get a treatment, and he's been declining it the whole time, and he just gets it out there. He's like, I want to live my life. I don't want to be forced to take pills before I go to bed. I don't want to be too weak to get out of bed. I don't want to have you guys take care of me like that. I don't want to have you guys remember me like that, being this like thing in the bed that you have to take care of and is a burden on you, and that we pour so much more money into to just keep me alive, when I can do what I want until my time is done, and live how I can. And this is what I freaking love about it. I mean, there's a lot of things I love with this. But one of the main things as well is that this whole scene is like 15 minutes long, I think. I don't know how long it is really, but it felt like it was pretty long, but it felt like a really good freaking scene to watch these characters play out here and, have this interaction. And it just really makes me wish that a lot of other films would do this too, because there's not a lot of scenes like that. Okay, that's not fair to say. Like, there's a lot of movies that have scenes like this, sure, that like actually talk to each other and they sit down. But I guess in a lot of ones that I've seen recently, like let's just use the MCU for example. They never have a scene like this where anymore, where it's like they just sit down and characters talk. There always has to be a fight or a quip of whatever the fuck. They can't just get serious for a few freaking minutes. And so I loved seeing that in Breaking Bad right here. I was like, oh, just watching characters just go at. I loved it. I loved that. And then going forward with it. So after that point, like, you see Walt, and by this point you've seen him do a few things at the time, and it's like, seeing this dying man get more powerful as he's dying is very satisfying to watch. This guy has had you could say he's had a lame existence, and he has despised a lot of stuff, and he's dying, but he's going down already. Like, you can tell he's going down he's fighting. He is going to enjoy himself. He starts getting more frisky with his wife. He wants to be able to make love and stuff. That was one of the things too. He's like, I don't want to be just too lazy to do anything and have no drive. He wants to have passion still. And so he's like, yeah. And he's, they're in the middle of having a meeting at the school or something. And he's just like, touching his wife while they're talking. And she's like, oh, you think that she's like disgusted, but no, she's actually okay with that too. And they go bang in the car afterward. Like, this is like, dude, he's just getting ballsier. And then as he and Jesse are doing more of the meth stuff and trying to move up with that, like, Jesse gets his ass kicked, and he's like, fuck, he just got injured big time. He got put in the hospital because of this, and I need a way to make money. So they're trying to find somebody to sell directly to without having to go around town to little bits and bits, trying to get a little bit of money. So he goes in there. And he just, they're like, oh, you stupid dumbass. You came in here with meth before. You came in here again. Really? And he's like, yeah, but that ain't meth. Boom. It's just one little thing. It's like a little bomb. And he's got a whole bag full of it. And everybody's like shitting their pants in it. They're like, holy fuck. Okay. He's like, yeah, I want my cash up front. We're going to make another deal later. I'm going to cook you this much a week and you sell it, whatever. I freaking love that. He's just like the fact that he's just getting that much more ballsy. He's not a fighter. He can't fight his way out. Hell no. But he used like this intimidation factor that just scared them shitless, the meth dealers, and it's just like I again satisfying to see, really satisfying to see. And you see his joy, and he's in his car. He's like, "Oh, I did it! Holy shit! I was able to do this." I loved seeing that. Just this movie felt this show like felt depressing at first to watch. It's like, oh, this is so sad, but it feels hype and satisfying as it goes. I don't know. I love seeing it progress like that. And then there's like some funny moments where like and then there's some funny moments, of course, where they're trying to cook meth in the basement while there's an open house trying to go on while Jesse was trying to sell his house or something, and because his house is shit. But nope, they realize, hey, we can't just do it in an RV all the time. We got to be able to do this faster. We got to have our materials, whatever. So they're going to cook it in his basement. But then there's an open house, and that's a little bit funny right there. But then it's also like he ends up stealing it. He was a little bit upset at Jesse. He's like, "Where's the thing that I asked for?" It was supposed to be like a gallon of whatever. He's like, "Oh, I couldn't find it. The only thing that I found was they had it at this one place, and it's under lock and key, and it costs a bunch of money." And he's like, and Walter usually it would be like, "Oh yeah, let's go do the right thing," and blah blah blah. No, he's like, "How about we steal it?" It's like, what? Okay. And so they end up stealing like a barrel worth of whatever they need, and it's like, okay. And then he's talking to his wife later, whom she had discovered that the sister of the DEA has been a thief and stealing stuff. And she tells Walt, and he's like, I don't know. That's what she did. And she's like, "Oh, how can you be like that?" And he's like, "Well, what if it were me? What if I were a thief and had stolen whatever? Would you turn me into the cops? What would you do?" She's like, "Oh, they'd never know." And he's like getting a little more confident with, could I tell her one of these days this is what I'm doing, and I don't gotta keep it a secret? I mean, maybe. You don't get that here, but you just see a little smile, a little grin on his face, like, this is going really good. This is going really well, and he's liking it. I don't know. It just see. I may be gushing over this more than you think that I should. I guess for this kind of a show, but I guess for me, this was a great change of pace in media for me to watch, and I want to take my time watching the rest of it. I know there's Better Call Saul, and I've heard that's on par, if not better than Breaking Bad. There's a couple more seasons of Breaking Bad that I gotta watch, but I'm going to take my sweet ass time watching them. I am not a binger. I don't like to binge, so I'm gonna watch this, one episode at a time, here and there, maybe once every couple days or once a week. I don't know, but Breaking Bad season 1 alone, I thought was really fucking good. I'll see you guys later.